What I wish I knew at 15 instead of 25? That healing isn't a solo trip, it's a family journey. Welcome to What Happens Outside of Love, a space where the masks come off, the truth gets told, and healing begins. I'm Dr. LaQuita, and I'm joined by my cousins Diontrise and Shanita. Together, we dive deep into those moments, memories, and mindsets shaped in the absence of love, and how we're finding our way back to it. This isn't just a podcast. This is a cousins production, a raw, real, and reflective journey where family, faith, pain, and progress meet. Whether you're navigating trauma, rebuilding trust, or redefining what love looks like in your life, we see you, and we're walking this journey with you. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about what happens outside of love, because healing starts with the conversation. Ready to join us? Let's get started.
Hello. Guess what? We are live now, guys.
Hello.
Shanita, you go. Okay, so guess who's here with me? This is going to be an interesting show, y'all. An interesting show. What is it? Here we go. You gotta come in. I know you can show me. So Dion is in the house with me, so she's gonna have to. We're gonna.
Hey, Dion.
Hey. So listen, guys, we got a lot going on today, and I don't know. We're trying to scoop this and organize, and Dion, you're gonna have to just kind of think in.
Let me go get me a hat. Let me go get my hat.
Girl. So hello guys. I know it's a lot going on in this camera today, but bear with us. We are talking about chosen family. So I'm here with my cousins. I'm Dr. LaQuita Parks, and we have to figure something out here, Dion. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, she's gonna try and see if she can hook up on another device. But Dion is at my house today, and so we were gonna try and work this out, but it's not combobulating the way it should. But anyway, we'll get it together.
But it's good. We still here together. Three Musketeers.
We are still here. We are here. So today we are talking about chosen families. And so my cousins and I'm Dr. LaQuita, and I'm the cousin in the middle. So Dion is the cousin on my daddy's side, and Shanita is the cousin on my mama's side. But we've chosen each other. So we didn't grow up together, and though we are blood cousins, we have chosen to be family. So we have chosen to bond together and do things together, and use each other as a sounding board together. And I know. So you have to mute. All right. So you just have to put it on mute so it won't be feedback.
Nah, that's still good.
Okay.
So it's capturing me, but it's receiving SO.
So we have, yes. We're trying, y'all. Okay. All right. So we'll figure it out.
I will be the ghost guest today.
Dion gonna be
okay. It's October, so ain't nothing wrong with being Casper the Friendly Ghost.
the friendly.
We talking about love, and Casper is the friendly ghost.
Yes, the friendly ghost. So what do you guys think about the chosen families? Because we know did y'all have a choice in being born into the families that we were born in?
Oh no, because if we did, we would chose something else.
And
respectfully with love.
And so for the people who are listening to us, we do love our families, right, lady?
We do.
Right?
Yes, we do. We love everybody. Like Christ loved the church. We
We
love
do. We
everybody.
do. We're gonna have to
We
figure
may
this
have
out.
some disagreements, but
Can
we
you
do
scoot
love.
over a little bit more? We're trying to get it. We're trying to get Dion in. So as we're trying to get this worked out, we're trying to figure it out. Dion is trying to figure it out. We're gonna get her in here because the setup here is real crazy. But anyway, so Shanita, what are some chosen families? When we talk about chosen families, what are we talking about?
My co-workers who may love me a little harder than my DNA members.
Good evening, Shauna. Shauna
Hey,
said good
Shauna.
evening. And
Hey, Shauna.
Bobby Parker said big vibes in the chat. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. We are the cousins. Okay. This is a cousins podcast production. You know, I say all the time, and you guys have heard me say this all the time, that
Hi.
you guys have heard me say all the time, we just acting silly over here, that I have an amazing support circle. And sometimes, you know, I feel like I've gone through so much, and sometimes you get to feel sorry for yourself and you go, nobody loves me, nobody cares. But that isn't true. And I'm not talking about my family. And I know my children love me, but you know, your chosen family are those people that you choose. And those are the people who are typically there for you when your family is not there for you.
Right.
And so as we talk about what happens outside of love, chosen families can happen inside of love, because I have a strong spiritual family. My brothers and sisters in Christ are amazing. And Shanita and I were just talking, Dion, with everything that's going on with the shutdown. They're saying, you know, there's going to be a break in, a delay in, SNAP benefits and all these different benefits. And so we were saying, there are places that we can turn to in the need of crisis. And that's our spiritual connection. And some people don't want to go to church. So,
but remember, y'all, we are not taking a political standpoint on
not at all. We're
just talking about
exactly
the love of Christ, of how things work out if you know who He is.
Exactly. So we're talking about what happens. We're talking about, our podcast is what happens outside of love. But when you're inside of love, you get those connections that you need. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but in Christ, it is.
Yes,
it is. Dion, stick your head in here, girl, so you can.
So is that not what they see right there?
That is what they see.
So ask them, can they see? Because if I stay
can you
see me.
Shanita, can you see Dion?
I see her red shoulder with a little black sleeve.
Yes,
right.
And a little one eyeball and a piece of a hat. But,
okay.
but I know there.
So they're only seeing. So this is what they're seeing.
That's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
if she scoot back and back up, scoot
on the other way.
Back. But unless you kind of angle the camera a little bit, almost. I think my big head is in the screen. There we go.
So we just kind of have to do this.
There we go.
We have to get close.
We go.
Listen,
look good.
We have to almost be like kissing cousins, right? We ain't kissing cousins though. So we have
I'm right there in the middle, y'all.
Okay, we have to get close. So what say you, Dion?
What say I about? Y'all gotta feel me here, because
we're talking about chosen families.
Oh yeah, I think the arrangement of God is one wonderful arrangement. How Ephesians chapter 4 talks about that, how we're all one in Christ, right? Mm-hmm. So in Ephesians chapter 4 also mentions the body. So as we're when we come into the body, our local body, the church family that we have, definitely, I agree, it's not our born into family, but as Jesus said in John chapter 3, that's why we must be born again, to come into a loving, welcoming family where we can become whole. That's how I think of chosen family. That's our village, as the world culture or word would say, that helps us, get those things that we need, the support that we need.
And you know what? One thing I want to touch on, since we're talking about chosen families, it's a movie called Give Me Shelter with Rosario Dawson in it. So she was a drug addict mom who had a baby. The child got lost, or whatever the case may be, and the child ended up having a baby. But a family took her in and it became her family. I can't remember. They said it's not the family you're born into, but the family that you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good movie. Talked about how even if you're going through some stuff, everybody has a family, whether it's your chosen family or your DNA family. Everybody has a family. Sometimes you may not have the family you want, but you will always come across a family that you need. So I think that's a good movie that people should check out. It's old, but it's still a good movie.
But I like that concept too, because it's like friendship. So you choose your friends, right, and you have friends that you don't, if you choose wisely. So you choose your friends, and these are the people who are typically in the same mindset as you. So, you know, they're long suffering with you. They know where the bodies are buried. I know I just lost my best friend of 40 something years, and we knew where all the bodies were buried, even though we were polar opposites. So whatever trouble we did it all, girl. We did it all. We did it all.
And another thing we could touch on too, your chosen family loves you unconditional. They accept you for who you are. And they will also check you to be who you need to be.
Yes.
So that's how we should look at chosen families, because I don't want to go into detail. But say if I'm subject A and then subject B and C, I need to choose a family. Subject B may be my born into family, right? They mistreat me in my mind. They mistreat me. You know, some wrongdoings. But subject C, they just take me in, you know, but they're going to guide me, because if you have a chosen family, which is unconditional love from Christ himself, right? They're going to make sure that you're on the right track. And if you find yourself, as my dad's wife, my other mom, my second mom would say, if you find yourself in that same situation as you, so what are you going to do? So that means if you're in family B and it's always chaos, you may need to go find family B.
Go to the next family.
And most times it's good to find family C at the church, or somebody that's spiritual within the church to bring you together, you know, because you can't be happy if you're living in misery. And they say misery love company. So you can't be in family B. You need to just go on over to family C so they can help you out. They will guide you. Like I said before, the blind can't lead the blind.
Or both of y'all falling in a ditch. You know, I was talking to so my friend Shauna, she and I'm gonna shout her out. She's listening in. We were on the phone and we laugh and we talk all the time. And she is my spiritual sister too. We're sisters in Christ. And we can talk for hours and we can laugh and talk. And we did that today. And both of us, the one thing that she said, if I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, I would hope somebody would correct me. And that's what friends do. So I'll call her, and you have to trust your friends. And the same thing with you guys. I'll call and say, okay, let me tell y'all this, or I'll send a chat. I'll send a message in our chat and I'll say cousins with exclamation points. And that's kind of like, hey, somebody called me. They was like, what's going on? But with Shauna, she'll say the same thing. She'll be like, sis, I'll say, sissy, let me get your opinion on this. Was I wrong? And she was like, you're wrong for that. So this is a chosen family. This is somebody that I chose. And so why choose a family that you don't trust? Now let's flip that a little bit. How does that differ from our biological families? So
how does it differ?
We're talking about unconditional, where we're still talking about what happens outside of love, but we're talking about unconditional love that we have. And Shanita, you just said it, with friends, with the chosen family. What about the family we didn't choose, but we have, and we have to love just as much or just the same? How about that? What say y'all?
Well, I'm gonna speak again on that. I'm saying with our unchosen family that we're born into, we 99.9%, being honest, we don't have unconditional love. We'll give Betty and Bob down the street a loaf of bread before we give our sister a piece of cake. Honestly.
Speaking of cake,
we made one mistake. We're gonna live it out to the end. And let me sum it up. Favoritism. That's the new word. outside of love, favoritism. And that chosen outside of love family is called favoritism.
Mm.
And the unchosen, because we don't. You talking about your natural family?
Yeah, your aunt. We didn't choose that family, so that is our unchosen family because we were born into it. So our chosen family is outside of our DNA. Our unchosen family is inside our DNA.
Okay.
And that word called favoritism. We don't. That's why we typically strive better outside of our chosen family, our unchosen family than our chosen family, because it's stipulations. So I say it all the time because this how I feel. I don't know how anybody else feel. I have 4 kids. I have 5 grandkids. I don't have favoritism because I know which ones require more than the other. And what I lack in doing for the others, I come back and make up on when it's needed. So if my grandkids was of age to ask who's Nana's favorite, they're gonna all think they're the favorite. But typically in our time, or maybe my kids, they may say they Nana or Gigi may have a favorite because we operate outside of love. So my child may be a little heavier or a little darker, but you want the in-between pretty curly hair. So that's your favorite. You understand? So that's our chosen family that makes us go outside to the unchosen family. The reason why we don't strive amongst each other. Instead of, if you don't like what somebody doing, find a nice way to fix it. But we typically tend to do things in ugly ways. You know?
Oh, I like that. Find a nice way to fix it. So Shanita, you had siblings with your mom, but your dad, you was the only child, right?
The only child on my dad's, yeah.
And so with my mom, I was the middle child. It was 3 of us. And I always felt like my sister, Kim, was the favorite because she was the oldest. And I just felt like she was my grandmom's favorite. I got more attention at a certain time because of everything that I went through, because it was medical. So I required that attention. So, but I don't think I was the favorite. But I used to feel that way. She was the favorite. Everybody knew her. And then it even affected the way that I chose school, because she went to Turner High School. And I didn't. I did not want to go to Turner High School. And I said, because everybody knew me as, oh, that's Kim's little sister. You're Kim's little sister. I'm like, I wanted my own identity. So I went to Douglas. That's how I ended up at Douglas.
I didn't know she
So,
didn't go to Douglas.
Yeah, she didn't go to Douglas. She went to Turner High School. And so she has her own identity at Turner High School. And I did my little wee thing at Douglas High School. But I felt, and I feel you, Shanita, because you when you're in a family, it's almost like you're competing. Shouldn't be. But even in the Parks, Gibson, Bridges side of the family, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's competition there. In the Everhart side of the family, there's competition. It shouldn't be, but it is, because that's the family we were born into. I remember my grandmama. I used to get tickled all the time because when I was younger, if you were not kind of doing what she wanted you to do, you were not the favorite. You know, if you were doing what she wanted, it was like, you know, Kim this. And then as soon as she fell out with Kim, it was LaQuita this. So you were the favorite if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing that she wanted you to do. So I kind of feel that with my kids, and I agree with my kids. They're different. Curtis is my favorite son. He's my only son.
Your only son.
But the girls will probably say Curtis is my favorite. He's just my only son. So I don't have favorites because they are all three individually different people. Those people are really, really different. So it's hard to have a favorite with them. All of them got some stuff with them. Okay, Dia, you know them people. You know my children. They're good people, but I don't have favorites. You can't have favorites.
You just have to know to love. You need to know how to love them and what they need.
In line. Yeah, absolutely, Jaquita. Thank you. Favorite when you fall in line.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Dion, what say you, girl?
I don't know. I think that's a difficult dynamic. Part of it is I think we were talking about that last.
Hey, Shauna.
last week when we were talking about how this burden that's being placed on us, where we got to, like, if grandmama them or whatever, whoever in the family, I gotta do this or I gotta do that. The choosing of the favorites, all of those things. And when you were just talking about your grandmama, I thought about manipulation. That's what I thought of when my
Another
grandma,
word.
right. And it's like, well, if you do this like I want you to do it, then you're my favorite. But all of those things are, I think, manipulative or manipulation tactics. But at the end of the day, all of these things are taking place outside of love because we're not trained inside of love. So the whole objective of this chosen family, our church family, it's the choice, because we understand that inside of love is where we want to be. So we've already said, I want to know what love is, right? So the circle over there is knowing what love is. We all over here finding out what it is. But outside of here, it is what it is in the family. It ain't, I want to know nothing. It just is. I ain't have no choice. You were born as my mom. I was born as your daughter. And I was born as your daughter. You were born. I was born. You were my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother.
Right.
So I really didn't get a say in it. And I don't get to choose whether or not. It's almost like this force field type of thing, right? I am forced to love you. We were talking about that last week, right? But when you make a choice, it's more or less I get to love you. Like we're cousins and we're getting to know each other. Not I got to. It's not a got to, but a get to. Scenario for me. So I'm just gonna have to say that's what I think that's what the chosen family represents. I get to practice loving you. I get to practice showing you kindness. I get to practice, supporting you. But in our natural family, it's more like I gotta do all that.
Yeah. I like
Why
that.
you need that? I don't understand.
I know. We talked about that last week. I get to versus I got to. And it makes it more unique, and it makes it more real. Because if I you can call me and say, hey, can you do XYZ for me? And if I want to do that, and I'm happy to do it. I'm not doing it begrudgingly, even if it's something like, hey, cousin, can you, I need $50. Okay. I'm like, hey, I got it. Or let me see how I can get it. But what else can I do to help you? So I want to help you. It's not like, oh man, it's not a chore. And that's when you're operating inside of love, it's not a chore, because we're supposed to give. And we chose to be inside of love. So if we've chosen to be inside of love, then we've chosen to do those things that love provides. And if it means, hey, I got to help my cousin, my sister, my brother, that I've chosen or not chosen to have some of the things that they need that I am able to provide, then why got to make them suffer for it? But that happens inside of families. You got to make you have the means. And let's talk about that for a second. You have the means to do something for somebody and you don't. You make them beg for it. And then, you make them jump through hoops and all this kind of stuff. I remember saying to a friend, if you need something and somebody knows you need it and they're able to provide it, why you got to jump through hoops for it?
Right.
If you know, and it's kind of like asking, it's like, Shanita, I see that you're going through something and you're in need, and you may not come and ask me, but I got to make you ask me,
Right.
And I know there's the thing that, you got to go to God in prayer and ask. But if I know that you're in need, then why do I have to make you ask? It's kind of like somebody walking out. I asked a friend of mine the other night, I said, if somebody was on fire, what would you do? What would you do? And it depends on how you feel about the person. You might give them some water. You might walk past them. You might start fanning the flames. You know what I'm saying? So when you're outside of love, all of those things are possible. When you're inside of love, you're going to do what you need to do to get that fire out and make sure that person gets what they need. Let's see. Jaquita said, growing up, it was so stressful because it was almost like a competition. They would remind us we worked on a reward system of who did what the best. It put strain on our relationship as siblings. Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Competition.
competition, and it's not fair. I remember my ex-husband's family, his dad used to pit them against each other. You know, they used to fight, and he used to kind of pit them against each other, and they were different colors. You know what I'm saying? They were different shades of complexion. So the darkest one it seemed like he got the most, you know, he got the brutality of it all. You know, the lightest ones were the, you know, like if you like the favorite.
They couldn't do no wrong. They couldn't do no wrong.
They can do no wrong. And that is so true. That is so true. In my family, it was three of us in the house, three girls, and I was in the middle. And I believe that my younger sister, there was a lot of jealousy there, because even though she was the youngest, I got the most attention. It was because I required it, because I was, quote unquote, the little crippled child. So I had to deal with a lot of medical issues. Mm-hmm. So as you go through that, then you got to get all this attention. Now, is it attention that I wanted? Absolutely not. Who want to go to the doctor and be stuck on all the time? But is it the attention that I needed? But she didn't understand that. And honey, I was not her favorite person at all.
And that I say about knowing every parent, if you're aware and you have unconditional love for your kids, if I say you should know which kid requires, even if, okay, say for instance, I'll throw my daughter out there. I don't know if she's listening or not. So with my two grandsons, one is healthy, one had heart problems, right? So she had to compensate for the one that was not sick, so that he can get that attention. Because what do you tell a 5-year-old when your brother got heart problems? Mm-hmm. Well, I got to be over here at the hospital. You got to make some special days where you just got to go and have some secret desserts, secret playtime with that child. Because if you don't compensate, it's hard for those kids growing up. And then they grow up and they be resentful. It's like Gigi had said. She was telling all the grandkids when she come to Georgia, hey, this is our secret restaurant. Don't tell nobody about it. So when she came earlier this year, when my grandbaby was having surgery, one of the kids, she had the grandkids in the car. Well, it's her great grandkids. She had them in the car, and they was like, Gigi, that's our secret place. So the kids was almost about to go in, and no, that's our secret place. So she didn't think that the kids, because everybody kept a secret, but when she had them all together, and they realized, hey. But they end up laughing later on, because she made that safe place for them to let them know, hey, I may come to Georgia and get this one more than I get you. But all of them knew that they had a secret relationship place with that Gigi when she come to Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so I tell people all the time, you have to pay attention to your kids. Mm-hmm. Like my connection is so strong with my kids that even when my oldest two was in school, I can know when she got in trouble. You ain't got to call, the phone ring, what she do? Because I feel it in my spirit. Not saying she was a bad child. But I'm saying you feel it in your spirit. Like, but you have to get to know your kids. Like, regardless of, in my household, somebody may have a different story. My mom could be the worst mama. I don't think she was ever the worst mama. I think she was the best mother she could be. That's my opinion. But somebody else may say she was the worst mama in the world, right? Mm-hmm. But even in her hard times, which we call bad days as children, we think it's just a bad day mama having taken out on us. She knew how to compensate. When we talked about it last week, I said my mama never really said she loved me, but my daddy always said he loved me. But my mama action showed me that if she never told me she loved me a day in her life, I knew by her actions, not because of my wants. I knew because of my needs and my wants, and sometimes my undeservings, that she showed up. And that's where we have this chosen family being chosen over our DNA born into family.
Mm-hmm. Jaquita said, I have a better relationship with Shanita. She is my sister-in-law, and she supports me more than blood family.
I do. I'm not trying to go into tears.
All right, so you telling the truth, Jaquita. Thank you. Shanita says she do. But you know what? Go ahead.
And what she means. So when we came down and I saw y'all like a few weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. She called me at the last minute. I know you're going to try to come down and see about me. I said, oh, no, I'm not. You know, when I rushed and left your house, I snuck to Alabama and my brother was looking. I said, where's she at? I need to put my eyes on her. Because she said somebody outside. So I guess I moved so they couldn't see me. She was like, now, you know, I told you don't put that stress on you. That's too much drama for you. I said, girl, I got to put my eyes on you. I got to put my eyes on
That's
you.
beautiful.
Because my love language is a giver. If I'll never receive again, I think God created me to be a giver. So even when I don't have financially, I try to be there mentally or physically when I cannot be there financially. That's my love language. I'm a giver.
Well, you know what? I love that. And you know what, girl, you went all the way to Alabama. You went from Georgia to Alabama, then to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Well, you better work it. You better work
I need
it.
more because I don't like that kind of stuff. You know, we need to show up even when we don't have it. Now, if you know you about dead, don't show up.
Now, see, that's
If the person know
and,
you, they
and
know
that's,
you're
and
gonna
that's
be
the
there.
thing.
Spirit.
That's the thing. You have, and because I don't know whether it's because society has created it or because it just is, you have where that chosen family shows up when the real family does not.
Because that's that get to though.
It's a you
know,
get to. It's like I'm happy to do this.
Get to is an energy. Just like
it's a whole vibe.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe. And got to is a whole drain.
Because I remember when my trauma happened. It's a small world. So people that I talk to here and there, I'm gonna say we friends. We may not talk every day as my BFF would say, but when we do talk, it's like we never lost time. We may go 2 years without talking, but when we get back together, it was like, girl, we just met up yesterday. So when my trauma happened, my friends showed up for me when my family couldn't show up for me. Mm-hmm. Like when I tell you people was bringing food, like the people in my family who I knew should have been there. I'm not talking about my family that's online, but I'm not calling anybody out. But the people who I know would have been like, hey, her mama turn it over in her urn right now because of what happened to her daughter. None of my DNA showed up. I had strangers showing up to my house with food, providing for me and my kids. But my DNA, not all my DNA. So I'm talking about outside my mother womb's DNA. Okay, the DNA I share with my mother's womb. Okay, I'm not talking about that DNA, but the other DNA that's shared outside of my mom with her other mom womb, nobody showed up. But the people who I knew showed up for me. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Lord, I can't go in that kitchen and cook for my kids. But I had people showing up I had never met bringing me money. Girl, you know, God is so good. You just got a testimony of what God has done for you. People just showing up. I remember where this lady, bless her soul, rest in heaven. I remember one time I was going through hard times. Miss Diana would say, hey, Shanita, come lift up my doormat. I tell you, about 2 weeks, that lady was leaving me gift cards and money up under her doormat. And I was like, she said, you know, you don't have to be DNA for me to love you. This woman, look, my mama had said, I think she's trying to steal you from me at one point. But Miss Diana, anybody who knew Miss Diana down in DeKalb and Henry in Atlanta, this lady, like, she took care of people. Mm-hmm. She was a caregiver to anybody she met. And it was so good to meet somebody who had what I had in me, which is my chosen family.
You know what? Jaquita said almost every surgery she's had, you have been there. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes. God made her to be my sister.
Yeah.
You know, I remember
that all the time. See, I wipe my little tear, but we're going to stop because I'm not going to cry on live.
Well, listen, you can go ahead and cry because they can see you good. I remember when I was going through, I went through a horrible divorce. My children were really small, and it was some domestic issues, domestic violence issues. And this is Domestic Violence Month, right? Mm-hmm. Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I remember when I went through the divorce, there was this lady at the church that I used to attend, and she's gone on, she's passed on. And it just kind of started out of nowhere. I don't remember when it started, but she would at church on Sundays, once a month, she would come. You know how you would go and give them a hug when you're leaving, you embrace people. She would stick something in my hand. And every month it would be a check for $400 every month. And it went on for 6 to 8 months. And one day she said, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing okay. So she said, okay, am I able to stop right now? She said, and I told her, I said, okay. She did. She started it. She stopped it. It was just such a blessing. And I remember for Christmas, she had did so much. Those $400 a month for 6 to 8 months was a great help. Okay. So I bought her a scarf. And I gave it to her for Christmas. And when I gave her the scarf, she said, she said, thank you for this. She said, I know what you're trying to do, but don't do this again. She said, you will never be able to repay me for what I did. And I don't want you to. All you can do is pay it forward. That's a family who you choose, and they show up for you when there is a need. She saw that there was a need, and she met the need, and she empowered me, and she helped me through that time where I was able to do that for other people, to just stay here, to just be a blessing to people without them even having to ask me. And it's been so many people in my life that have been such blessings to me. Listen, I'm going to tell you, there have been times, there have been, you have that family that you can call and say, hey, I have a family that I can call and say, hey, my heat not working, my gas not working, my something's not working. And they are there for you, and not like, okay, here we go again. And then trying to charge you. I called my electricity. Something was going on with my electricity. And I was trying to find an electrician. And there are so many people, they want to charge you before they even come out to see what the issue is. Now, I'm not negating that everybody has a job and everybody got to charge for something. I'm not negating that. But what I am talking about is that chosen family that you can reach out to. Who, now, are there people in my family who might be electricians? Probably. Do I know that? Probably not. Am I afraid to touch that? Yeah, because I don't have any good experience with that. You know what I'm saying? So with the chosen family, they are the ones that show up, and they show up and show up and show up, Dion, because they want to. They want to show up. They get to show up because it's a blessing to show up.
I think what I'm hearing, you're talking about chosen family, but it seems to me, based upon what I'm hearing, the family chooses us. That lady, and you were talking about the lady under the door and the lady who's handing you the check. Neither one of you chose to ask her. You didn't choose her individually, separately. Y'all didn't choose to go and ask her anything.
But they were part of our spiritual family.
Right. That's what love is. I want to know what love is. That is what love is. Love chooses to bless you or give the advantage as opposed to taking it. Right. And that's a clear-cut advantage. Because you, in the predicament that you're describing, and oftentimes that we find ourselves in, typically we're in a disadvantaged position. Love comes along and it gives the advantage. Outside of us choosing, it's really choosing us. So the decision is, when we say we're talking about going into the church family, going into communities and being a part of that family, we choose to say, I want to know what love is and operate inside of love. But actually, once you get in love, it's choosing you.
Hey. Girl, drop the mic. Drop mic. I love these nuggets. I really do. So what happens to, so we're talking about chosen families, or the families that choose us. What happens to, how do we bridge the gap? So there is a gap. It's like what happens inside of love, what happens outside of love. So we have that chosen family, the families that we've chosen, and in the midst of those families that we've chosen, then they choose us again and again. So how do we bridge the gap between our biological families and our chosen families? How do we bridge the gap where we are not feeling like we're operating in such a steep narrative?
First, we tell them to come join us in love. Do you want to know what love is?
I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Okay, then you invite them
in. Woo! I thought my computer went. Doggy dog. He was a little curious. He want to know what love is. You said invite him in, and he wants to come in on the next episode.
I think that is though. I think that's the divide, because actually our families are go, like, let's say you invite me to your church, right?
Mhm.
And I see the love that is
And you
poured
will.
out, right?
Mhm.
I've seen it when at the events, even though that
Mhm.
wasn't your service.
Mhm.
But it's my job then to say, I want some of that.
Mhm.
That's not a dynamic of our natural family, even though I am a part of your natural family.
Mhm.
But I see the love that exists in this circle and I want some. So I choose it. I say, what? How does that work?
Mhm.
Or I say, what's going on over here? Or whatever question I'm going to ask you.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to come on in?
Mhm.
You want to come on inside of love, because all of these things are found, these blessings, these gifts, these get tos, they're found inside of love. God places the people there to support, to give, to do. But we got to step in and get what he has for us.
Jakita says, I feel like God will put people in your life because he knows you need that love and bond with people who are just good-hearted and the love is unconditional.
It's inside
Amen.
of love.
Amen. I totally agree with that, because when you're operating in that in that arena, then it feels right. Now, is everything going to be perfect? Well, inside of love, everything is perfect. But at the same time, when things are not as they should be or as that you desire them to be, then all you got to do is follow the blueprint. Just follow the blueprint. It's there. So the problems come when we try to reinvent that. We try to reinvent the blueprint. We try to make it the way we want it. Okay, this is not quite how I want it to be. So let me tweak it. Let me fix it. It should be this way. When no, it's perfect the way that it is. We're the ones that's imperfect. So as we go through trying to navigate that and trying to bring those other people in, and you know what, and it's funny, have you guys noticed, since we've been doing this podcast, have you guys noticed some familiar, I'll say some familiar audiences, you know, people, you know, kind of looking but not saying anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've noticed that some people in our families that are looking and not saying anything, because you know we want them to come inside of love. You know, don't just look. Ask us questions. Ask questions.
And that's the thing. I think you guys said it at first, or someone on the chat screen. Someone was mentioning the jealousy and the competition. Inside of love is none of that.
Right.
It's all to build you up. It's like the ladies, both of the ladies, women you guys were talking about, that sold into your lives during your time of need, right? They could have looked at you, they could have judged you, they could have been like, she doesn't deserve that, you know, or for whatever reason. I call it judging based upon, you know, the holier than thou, the self-righteous statue, right? She ain't where I am, and da 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 da. Therefore, she don't need. She shouldn't have been doing this to her husband. He would have did that, and so on. That's what families typically do, right? Well, maybe if you had a did this, it wouldn't have happened like that. So now I'm in the predicament I'm in, and I need what I need. And you want to do a judgment call? You want to say that I should have changed something about my behavior, and I would have got a different result. When now it's obvious that I'm in the predicament that I am in, and I need some help. Are you going to help
don't
me?
you hate that? Don't you?
And why?
In the middle of the situation, when you're listen, when I'm drowning, when I am drowning, that is not the time you teach me how to swim. Okay, you cannot
pull
teach
me
me
up.
how to swim while I'm drowning. Don't be saying, "Hey, you should have been doing this." Pull me out, please. Pull me
And then
out.
let's have a conversation.
And let's have a conversation.
But it doesn't
Let's see
go
how
like
we
that,
can
though.
get. Let's see how we can get you not in the water again.
Well, outside of love, I'm really finna push you in because I need for you to drown.
Absolutely.
Psychologically, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Like, I know this is hard facts, right?
No, we're gonna throw you in, sink or swim.
Yeah, but you're causing me to drown if you're telling me, if you want to correct me while I'm drowning, honey, I'm gonna lose breath.
That's right.
By the time
I'm good as gone.
Yeah, but that's the dynamic of outside of love versus inside of love. Because inside of love, it's just, I ain't asking no questions here. Here's the float, baby. Hang on, pull up. It's that check that which I was just out here. Here you go. No questions asked.
And then afterwards, come here. So and there is time enough. You know, said there's time enough for dealing for counting when the gambler. You know, you never count your money when you sit at the table. You know, you guys know that song, right?
Yeah.
So
Kenny
there's time enough for counting when the deal is done. So get the deal done and then let's count. So there's a coaching opportunity there. It's like, okay, you know what? Here, I'm going to help you. Here we go. And then let's talk about how we can do this next time. So if it means let's sit down and take a look at this, how can I help you? And it's not how can I help you by continuing to feed you these dollars or whatever. It's let me help you get to this point, and then let's talk about, okay, the way that she did that was beautiful. I didn't ask her to start, and I didn't tell her to stop. She stopped when she felt like, okay, you know what, we've done this for a while, and you get it. This has been enough cushion to help you, because in hindsight, it should have been, okay, if she was giving me $400 to offset whatever, I should have been putting back $400 that I didn't have to have of my own, so I could be able to build up a little stack. So I get that. And it's not always possible, but that was a lesson in that. And I got that. And it was a beautiful lesson. So, and we don't get that all the time. We get, honey, you better go on back over there where you pay. I'll never forget. And I shared this story before. My mom is deceased, bless her heart. I love her to death. But I remember when I first went through and I had an apartment by myself with the kids after divorce. And I was scared to death. I was scared. I'd never been on my own before. Got married at 19, moved with my husband. And when I went to my mom kept the kids that day. I was like, can I spend the night? She was like, oh, you better go on back over there where you just spent all that money to move. So I learned a very valuable lesson at that point. I am in this on my own. It's me and these kids. So no matter what happens, no matter what they do, no matter what we go through, it's me and them. It wasn't their dad. It wasn't my mom. It wasn't their family. It wasn't my family. It was me and them, the four of us against the world. And I had to tell them, listen, it's one of me and three of y'all. I don't deal well with unnecessary. I deal okay with necessary things. So that was a hard lesson to learn. But when I tell you I learned it, you ain't got to learn a lesson but one time to get it.
Right.
And I learned that lesson and I got it and I mastered it.
Well, I think that's the point though of the choice of knowing what love is, because you were figuring that out with you and the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't and you choose to stay out there, and then that's the boat you throw to your kids. Well, baby, I had to figure it out.
I did it. You got to do it.
You got to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, and that's what I'm hearing in our generations, in our families, the ones that we were born into. It's like, well, I had to struggle.
And you'll be okay.
Baby, nobody don't know this trouble I see. Almost like it's inherited, right. And you gotta go through it. But and you guys were talking earlier, and I was thinking, inside of love, communication is a great key, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you would just say something to me,
mm-hmm.
But if you say this to me,
be mindful how you say it.
If you tell me, right? If you say, "Hey, put on the float before you jump in the water," and if I don't, and I put it on the float, now you can come out there and be like, "I'm standing over the water." No, you're gonna save me, but didn't I just say you put on that float? But you teaching me a lesson. Mm-hmm. But you never said put the float on. You never warned me. You never coached me. You never taught me. And then I'm out here drowning, and you like, didn't I tell? What did you tell? You ain't told me nothing.
You ain't told me nothing.
You haven't said anything.
You're assuming. I've used this analogy all the time about the bed. So as a parent, if you tell your child, go in there and make the bed, go make the bed up. And then as women, we get married, we meet a man who he called himself making up the bed, and you like, what you doing? I'm making up the bed. That's not how you make up a bed. Well, I've been making the bed like this since I was, 10 years old. Well, because your mama never showed you how to make the bed, you making the bed the way that you think the bed should be made. And then here, when somebody is telling you this is the correct way to make the bed, you're not receiving that because you was never trained how to make the bed. Somebody just told you to go do it. So when we teach what's supposed to be done instead of assuming that they already know. How do you already know if you don't teach me? The Bible, what who was it that said, what stops me from being baptized? So I want to be baptized. You learned the gospel. So here's water. What stops me from being baptized? And how can I know without a teacher? Right. So even the Bible tells you that there needs to be a teacher. Right. So as a parent, we're the teachers. But that does not go without saying that there are some parents who were never taught. So we still have a responsibility to find the teacher. Right. So you have to be open to it. So if you know that you don't know how to do something, then there are so many resources to help you find out what you need to find out. But you got to be open to it. And that's inside of love. You got to be open to getting inside of love. Here's teachers.
And ask for the help. Don't assume that somebody knows.
Right. And you can't assume that somebody knows. I remember a situation where this lady was dating this guy. And she was upset because he didn't give her something for I think Valentine's Day. And so I was like, well, did you tell him? Well, he should already know. Well, how?
He may not have ever received a gift on Valentine's Day.
And if I didn't learn it, if I didn't know it, I know we talk about waffles and spaghettis, right? Women are spaghetti. I'm a spaghettier all day long. Men are waffles. They are, and for those of you who don't understand what that means, look it up. Waffles and spaghetti. There's a book called Waffles and Spaghetti. It's kind of like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Waffles are compartmentalized. Men see things in compartments. They are not doing 3, 4, 5 things at a time. Their minds are right in a compartment. Women, we're spaghetti. We can be taking care of the baby, washing dishes, cooking, on the telephone, and
watching TV,
email, and watching TV all at the same time. So when you're sitting next to a man who's watching the game and you trying to talk to him, he ain't hear nothing but what you said. All he doing is watching the 49ers throw. That's all. That's all. He's waffling. He is waffling. So you have to know where you are. So ask. You have to ask.
But is that not part of the rule book? That's not a play in the rule book.
It is.
That's what it says.
Right? It is.
Ask. Two things. Ask
you shall
receive.
But seek and you should find.
But in another place,
seeking, it's the same thing.
But in another place, he said you have not
because you're asked not.
You ask not. So for the generations that has come before us, I think what we're dealing with today, the chosen family versus the unchosen family, is a matter of ignorance. Because the knowing and the loving family, the loving person in our community, love chooses. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. Obligation neglects. If I got to, I don't want to. So it's like I'm forfeiting my desires. You know what I think sometimes, and I have a story behind it. For the sake of time, I won't go into it. But, I had a teenage mom, and basically she was like, I really didn't want you. And I said, now, was that my problem or yours?
Knocking on doors.
Right. How is that? How did you not want me have anything to do with me?
Right. Now that I am here, but here's the thing. I think we grow up with that trauma, so to speak, right? Like I was unwanted until we understand that inside of love, you're always wanted.
Yes, always.
Love wants you, period.
Point blank, period. Jaquita said, by the time I was 19, I had custody of all my younger siblings. I don't know who cried harder, me or them. We had to learn together and raise each other. It was so much I didn't know. Okay, beautiful. Shanita's mom had to finish raising me because I was a mess even after I had my child and he was up in age. She had to finish raising us both. See, that's called chosen family. Chosen family. And wow, that's huge. We're gonna have to have you on our show, Jaquita.
Let me tell you a funny story since she said that, right? So one day she was in the kitchen cooking French fries. And they ain't picking on nobody. So my ex-husband came in. He said, "What the HE double hockey sticks is that?" She put the French fries in the grease without being cooked. And my mama said, "Hey, get a pen, get a piece of paper. You write these recipes down because we ain't gonna have that no more. You waste my grease and my potatoes."
So you have to learn. You got to start from somewhere. Right. And here's the thing. She could have been like, okay, she could have taken that completely wrong, been embarrassed, and it's like, she is mean. I don't want to learn, and closed off completely and went a total opposite way. But she was open to learning, open to getting that. Right. Hey, that sound like a Bessie move right there. Mm-hmm. Bessie be like, come here, let me show you. Let me show you what to do.
No, I know about Aunt Bessie. Don't get me started.
Bessie is my grandma. This is my grandma, Bessie. Mm-hmm. Bessie Jewel Everhard Harris. She did not play the radio, honey.
Not at all. I learned that not at all.
Ma'am. And was an amazing cook. But she didn't listen. She was straight no chaser. And that ain't no lie.
What came up came out.
What came up came out, and she didn't play. She'd be like, "Hey, I remember my friend Karen, who passed away. She came over my grandmama's house and she didn't have a slip. My grandmama told her, 'Come here.' She said, 'Go stand right there in front of that door.' She said, 'I can see straight through your skirt.'"
She did not play.
She said, "Go in my room and look in my closet and pull out a slip." She had a slip. She said, "Don't come over here no more without no slip on." Okay.
That's all right.
He was like, "Hey, now." She did not play. She didn't care who you were. Mm-mm. But she would teach you something if you were open to learn it. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to learn but one time. Yeah, you don't have to learn that lesson but one time.
She didn't have to redirect either. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I'm still terrified.
She had a redirecting stick. Right. She was one of them grandmoms that was known for leave them over here for one day. I straightened them out for one day. I didn't have to go through it.
She meant what she said.
She meant what she said. She did. Okay, so this has been an amazing conversation. It has. So as we close, ladies, give an example of your chosen family, and we're gonna start with Dion.
An example of my chosen family, one that reflects the characteristics and attributes that we find in the Word, a family that receives me unconditionally, that loves me unconditionally, that works with me through my issues, understanding the process that must take place for me to go from this broken state to arrive at a place of wholeness that God has called each of us to be inside of love.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Shanita?
I can't top that. I'm with her. I started with it and she finished it.
You know what I'm saying? That is, I love it. I love it. I want to just say right now, thank you for my support family, my chosen family. My chosen family is amazing, and they are. There's a lot of them. I had somebody told me, "Well, LaQuita, you got a lot of friends." I don't look at it as having a lot of friends. You know, you have a circle, and I always say, "Show me your circle, and I'll show you your life." And I have an amazing extended family, an amazing extended support family. And when you can pick up the phone and you have various needs, and you can call your support, your chosen family, your support circle to help you in the midst of those needs, and you're not stressing one person or stressing, the same people. It's an amazing circle. I think in the Bible says, in order to have a friend, you must first show yourself friendly. So in order to be a part of the chosen family, you must show yourself that you want to be a part, or that you are there. And just like our families show up for us, our chosen families, we also have to show up for them. So we show up for each other. We do. We show up for each other, and we have to show up for even our biological families, even though they don't want to. We do. It's a little harder. It's more of a challenge, but our goal is to operate inside of love. And Arlene, hey, Arlene, this is another part. She is such a beautiful part of my family. This is Miss Arlene White. She said you can call it 7 a.m. Absolutely. There are that chosen family. Now, some of them don't wake up till late, but some of them you can call at 7 a.m. And sometimes I have the phone in my hand waiting on that dial to hit 7 a.m. so I can make sure making a call because I want to respect the household. But when you can place calls and you can pour out, that's that chosen family. Thank you, Arlene. So I'm grateful for my chosen family, and I'm grateful for my cousins, y'all. My cousin on my daddy's side, she right here in my house, y'all. That's why we half on the camera. Okay.
I got 5 on it.
Okay. And Shanita, we're gonna have to Dion, we're gonna have to go up and see Shanita. Shanita,
We got to go to the Tennessee show.
we got to go we got to go up to Tennessee. We coming, girl. We coming. So closing remarks, ladies.
Let's Shanita go.
Go ahead.
You said what? What did you say?
Closing remarks.
Let's just find our good love. Let our chosen family also meet up with our inherited family and work it out.
Work it out.
Instead of 5, make it a 10.
Oh wait, Jaquita has a she made a comment. My chosen loved me when I couldn't understand how moms loved her children. My chosen family loved me unconditionally. I love you, Shanita, and you are my chosen family. I promise, come whenever you call. Oh, that is so sweet. Jaquita, we need to listen. You in our family now, girl.
I know.
All right, you our chosen family now, and so is Arlene and T. Watkins, Tanika.
Yeah, Tamika.
Tamika. Okay, girl. You guys are all our family. Bobby Parker. We don't know who you are, but you are family too. And Shauna. Girl, Shauna, Sissy, you in the house.
Arlene.
And Miss Arlene, we know y'all. Yes, yes, they were. So final words.
Come on inside. You gotta come on in. For all of those that are watching this and understand the dynamics of your inherited family versus the chosen family, and you want to know, you want to choose to be where love is, we invite you in. Come on inside where love is.
And you know what? Listen, as we continue to have these conversations, my cousins and I, we invite you to join us for our conversations. If you want to be a guest on the show and talk about what happens outside of love, share some of your experiences with us, we invite you. All you have to do is send us a message. We are on all things social media, so you can reach us on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can leave a message on YouTube. You can send us a message anywhere. I'm on social media. All of us are not, but we're getting there. But being Shanita is on Facebook, and LaQuita Parks or Pay Pro B Publishing is on Facebook, all things social media. But find us, contact us, and let us know who you are. And we would love to invite you to our show. But we thank you for being a part of our family. We love each other. We have a good time together. Listen, we clown, okay? We clown. And it's a good thing. Look at we clown, okay? So thank you guys so much for being a part of this show. And listen, it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That part.
Until next time, we will see you guys. Have an amazing night. Thank you to all.
Bye, everyone.